You are listening to Supplement Source, the official podcast of the Council for Responsible Nutrition. And now your host, Jeff Ventura.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Supplement Source. My name is Jeff Ventura. I am the Vice President of Communications here at the Council for Responsible Nutrition. I am joined today by Sonja Thompson, who is from Informa, and she's going to be talking to us a little bit about something called SupplySide Fresh. Tell me a little bit about SupplySide Fresh. What is this?
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you letting me be on the podcast today. And like you said, I work with Informa. I'm a community content manager for SupplySide. Been with Informa since December of 2022, but I still consider myself new to the health and nutrition industry. So it's pretty perfect that I've been leading this onboarding program that's helping new folks called SupplySide Fresh.
Terrific.
And I think that name has caused some confusion for people because the word fresh, and I'm doing air quotes here for the people listening, it's been used a lot to describe things like produce, but it's not a salad. It's an onboarding program that provides education and networking opportunities. You know, when you first enter any industry, you got to start somewhere, right?
When you're fresh.
Yeah, right. In a school setting, you call the first year students freshmen. And I think that's kind of a little play on where we got the name SupplySide Fresh.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So when we first started putting this program together, I had a lot of conversations. I talked with people who were new to the industry to find out, the things that they were interested in learning. I also talked to quite a few industry veterans who said, here are the things that new people need to know. Then we took all of that information, we created a syllabus, if you will, for 2 individual courses, SupplySide Fresh Supplements and SupplySide Fresh Food and Beverage. And then we asked industry people who are experts on those topics to record the sessions. So they're 15 to 30 minute introductory videos. And I think right now there are 34 sessions in each course on so many different topics, from legal and regulatory, so labeling and claims, GMPs, GRAS ingredients, to trade media, trade associations. And yes, we even talk about the importance of joining CRN.
Oh, well,
But we also talk about important partnerships like consultants and contract manufacturers, supply chain considerations, Amazon and e-commerce, adulteration risk, testing labs. There's so much education, and we continue to add new sessions at the end of each calendar year, as well as refresh the fresh content that might be outdated, because some topics, as you know, are not static. They keep evolving, like trends, technology, and sustainability. But we also put together several downloadable PDFs that have really useful information, including a list of industry acronyms, and there are a lot of them.
I bet. Geez, where were you guys when I started in this industry 2 years ago?
Exactly.
It's fascinating idea, because on the one hand, you think to yourself, gee, don't companies, kind of have this internally for their new hires, that, there would be some sort of primer about the industry, but I would imagine, now that I kind of think about it, and I hear you talk about the range of topics, and the sort of bird's eye view that a company like Informa could actually give this, kind of makes sense that, you would be offering something like this, a real value add as a training component for companies with new people coming in from the outside who have no real acumen in the dietary supplement or functional food space. I can see this being a pretty great benefit.
Yeah, we do realize that there are other, educational opportunities for people out there. You can find content for on LinkedIn Learning. You can find expert videos on YouTube, but you won't find the same opportunities to network and connect with other industry newcomers like we do with the SupplySide Fresh. So we do.
Tell me about the networking piece. I'm curious.
So we do have and people who register for SupplySide Fresh have access to the course for a year's time. So in addition to the videos, the PDFs, webinars that we have scattered throughout the year, there are 16 networking opportunities that people can attend. So some of them are where they can meet with other newcomers that are within the SupplySide Fresh program. Some of them are where they can meet the researchers, where they can talk about the latest innovations and projects that they're working on. And we offer another networking event called Who's Who, the Supply Side Rock Stars. These are amazing people who want new folks to be successful. So really, I keep saying that I think that sometimes in the industry or in any industry, it's who you know more than what you know. So that's this combination of not only education, but also connections, and it like facilitated connections with people to make, strong network.
Are the rock stars Informa people, or are they sort of people from all over the industry?
There are some rock stars that are Informa people, but there are also people who have been in the industry for quite a long time. And I know that we have one of the events at some of the networking opportunities. We actually have two that align with SupplySide's two big trade shows. So there's SupplySide Connect New Jersey in April and SupplySide Global in Las Vegas in October, where they actually get to network in an in-person setting. But also in SupplySide Global, we have the first time attendees reception, and that's where some of the SupplySide rock stars are to meet, people who are attending the show for the first time. And it's really one of those events that people keep talking about how valuable it is, making those connections and being able to meet people who have been around the block a few times, if you will.
So this seems like there's a lot of value packed into this.
Yeah.
But what does it cost to attend something like this, or to subscribe? I sign up.
We say enroll, right? Enroll in the program, yes. And the people are participants. Initially we were kind of focused on, when we were putting this program together, we were super focused on individuals. So these are the people who are completely new to the industry, or perhaps they moved into a new role like R&D, marketing, procurement, sales, or even founders. People who, they woke up in the morning and they decided they wanted to make a dietary supplement for like women's health or sports nutrition, or maybe a functional snack or a non-alcoholic ready-to-drink cocktails, sure. Because those are really hot, right? Those are pretty trending CPG products right now. Well, there's a lot of things that go into that, a lot of things that people need to know. So the focus was to accelerate their foundational learning and connect them with new people and industry experts. Then after we launched the program last August, we launched SupplySide Fresh. We realized how comprehensive the program actually is, and we shifted our focus to how business leaders and hiring managers could use it as a ready-to-go onboarding solution for their new hires. We know that some internal teams don't always have time to teach new folks the basics. We're already ready to help people gain the knowledge and connections they need to succeed. So we bridge the gap, so to speak, between what newcomers don't know and what companies need them to know or understand. Right. Plus, people can learn at their own pace. It's self-led. They'll have access to the program for 1 year from the date of registration. They can complete the course while they manage their other job responsibilities.
Which is terrific for busy people.
Absolutely. I've been asked, how much time would it take to complete it? I think that if you sat down and binged watched all of the videos and read all of the PDFs, it's approximately 15 hours. But I mentioned earlier, there are webinars, networking events scattered throughout the year, so plenty of opportunities to revisit the content, see what's new, and make industry connections. But as to your question as to the cost, we have several different enrollment options. So the one enrollment option for an individual is $299 for one course for 1 year. That's if you just want to take the SupplySide Fresh supplement course, or you just want to take the SupplySide Fresh food and beverage course. And again, each course has over 34 videos, 13 downloadable PDFs, several webinars. There's a lot that's included in that. But for individuals who are interested in taking both courses, we provide a 25% discount. We call that the All Access Pass, and that's $448 for the entire year. For organizations, we have corporate pack options. So the companies who want to utilize SupplySide Fresh as a comprehensive onboarding program. There's a single course corporate pack, and that's 10 registrations to a single course. Again, SupplySide Fresh supplements or the SupplySide Fresh food and beverage, that's $2,500. which is a 16% discount if you, instead of purchasing, 10 of the singles. There's also an all access corporate pack option. That's 10 registrations to both courses for $37.50. That's also at a 16% discount. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. In terms of content, is this content that has been completely brand new, generated brand new for this program? Or is it a combination of some of that, but then also some historic content that Forma had and has now put as part of this?
The only thing that was, I'm going to use the word repurposed content, was there's a session within the SupplySide Fresh Supplements course that talks about DSHEA. Okay. So I think that it was 15 years ago, there was a video that was created. And what we did by Informa, and what we did is we went through that video and we took out stuff that was no longer relevant. Right. So the core information about what it was, how it came to be, that is still in there. And then we added a new introduction so that the same person, Sandy Almendarez, who did the introduction in the first video, I think she was wearing the same dress, which is pretty impressive. But it was kind of like saying, here's, that we're revisiting this. This is a video that was recorded a while ago. It still applies. So that's the only thing. Everything else really was based on conversations that I had with new people and experts about what content was essential, and then reaching out to industry experts who were, experts on those topics. And we recorded, it's exclusive to the SupplySide Fresh program. You won't find that information anywhere else. And then, like I said, at the end of each year, I reach out to those industry experts and I say, is anything changed? Especially, very well, Jeff, like legal and regulatory. I reached out to those folks and I was like, are there any changes? Do we need to update this? Are there,
they're like, call me back in 5 minutes. I'll have a change for you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So we definitely, we're looking at the content. There's some stuff that's evergreen and there's stuff that's going to be changing. And we're going to be adding things as people take the course or people ask questions. For example, somebody reached out to me at the end of last year and said, hey, do you have a course on animal supplements? And I said, no, but we will. And so I, made connections to Bill Bookout, who's the president of NESC, and he recorded a 15 to 30 minute session on kind of an introduction to animal nutrition. And then I reached out, because we had one for the dietary supplements. I reached out to, Austin Thurl of AFCO to say, how about pet food formulation? Sure. Let's do the, the food and beverage side of that to get introductory. So I think that this program is going to become more valuable as people, say what is in it, what is missing. Let's provide the most valuable, content for people as they're entering the industry. Whatever, even if they're in a niche, let's provide value for them.
And success for the individual is measured, I'm sure, by coming out of this program and really feeling better equipped to think strategically on behalf of their company, to really see the bigger picture, to, nuances about the industry that may have taken a very long time to come to your own realization about it, maybe are accelerated because of this sort of concentrated learning. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of feedback, about the context, like you said, the list of industry acronyms, or we even have a PDF that lists out all of the global conferences and events, within the supplement industry or within the food and beverage. So somebody at a glance could be able to look and say, oh, if I only have a budget for maybe to attend 2 events this year, which ones, which ones are well based on the audience or the location or what the needs are of the person. It's like, that's super valuable, and will be updated for next year as well. But I also, I keep going back to, I think what makes SupplySide Fresh special are the networking opportunities. And I had one person who in the beginning of March this year had said that one virtual networking session was worth the cost of admission. He made connections and has a mentor that's in it was I mean, that speaks volumes, right?
Right,
like
right.
When people are saying,
yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, the ROI for something like this can come in anywhere, a connection that's made or a realization that happens to come at a time where someone really benefits from that in terms of their decision making on the job or whatever. Sonja Thompson, we really do thank you so much for coming onto our little show and talking about SupplySide Fresh, which we now know is not a meal plan.
It's not a salad.
It's not a salad. It is not HelloFresh. Yeah, right. No, we really do appreciate it, and please make a promise to us to come back and be our guest on a future episode.
Absolutely, and I encourage people to, if they want more information about the program, we've got a website, SupplySideFresh.com.
Terrific. Thank you again, and we shall talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, thank you.